Hey EcoFlow friends, I'm back again with another video, and today we're disassembling this big boy Delta Pro, and we're gonna take a look what's inside here. And to disassemble this, all we need is a regular screwdriver. But to make it a little bit faster and a little bit easier, we have prepared, I borrowed this instrument from my dentist. Okay, let's start with this one. Oh, pure pleasure. Okay, let's take this one out first and get started with the righty tighty lefty loosey. Okay. Ba-dam! There we go. Okay. Let's take a look what we have here. Obviously, a couple of coolers for the inverter system and a whole bunch of connectors. Now the next step would be to disconnect all of them. Now let's disconnect this one. This is a cable that goes to Anderson port and 12 volt car charger, aka cigarette lighter charger. Plus those here, those are some communication cables. Mostly the signal is going by those cables, but there is no much load or power going through them. Okay. Now we're gonna disconnect this XT60 connector that actually connects inverter with the solar input. Okay. Okay. Those two cables are mostly used for EV connector and infinity port. So next one is we're gonna disconnect this Mppt connector. So here is our Mppt model. This is input, comes from the solar panels, goes into Mppt and then goes into battery through this cable. So we're gonna disconnect it as well. Now it's time to take off this front cover, and here you already start seeing a battery pack, and you can see there are hexagonal design here and here as well for a better ventilation, as well as this hole, so the battery can release the heat if necessary if it runs at a high load. And on another side we do the same thing, and we can see our battery management system. You can see the interesting thing about the way we designed the connection between the battery pack and the inverter is we use those two metal plates that go to the positive and negative, and it's very different from how most of the power stations on the market designed today. Normally there will be a bunch of cables hanging all over the place, but we decided to make it like in a very simplistic and beautiful way. Plus function wise, if you drop your Delta, or you know, if you put it in the trunk of your car or anywhere else where it's gonna be shaken, this one is a lot more reliable in comparison to conventional cable design. Also, from the industrial design perspective, you can see that this is all very clean and high quality build and design in comparison to other brands. Like we've seen some famous YouTubers who disassemble power stations. They disassembled some other blue brand power station, and it's a whole different story going on in there, because it's all cables running all over the place, a little bit messy, and so far we haven't seen anything that clean on the market. Okay, now let's take this cover off. Ta-da! So here's our motherboard, aka BMS system, and we have our analog front end in here, microcontroller unit, Bluetooth unit, and many others here. The interesting thing about this is again that we didn't use the traditional cable design, so it's not, we don't have cables going on all over the place. Instead, we used copper plates like here and here and here to interconnect all the pieces together. So now let's take this BMS board off, and it has a little plastic clamps in here, so even without screws it can stay in place really solidly. And here's another one. All right. Boom. So again, instead of using a lot of massive cables, we decided to go for those copper plates to interconnect the pieces, battery pack, BMS, outputs, and so on, inverter. So this is a lot more solid design to withstand any kind of shake in transportation. So you see the way it connects. This copper plate connects in here, and this one connects in here, and same idea for the other ones. So right now we're disassembling the ground line that connects to the metal chassis of Delta Pro, and the same one on the other side. Okay. Now to finally take off our front panel, we need to go into the handle department and unscrew a couple of those screws. Okay. Now let's unclamp it, because the plastic clamps on the sides are holding it as well. Ta-da! There we have. So that's the front panel of Delta Pro, and here you can see those are AC outputs. We have a 30 amp RV output in here, and the rest of it is DC outputs, USB Type-C, turn on and off button. We also have a little Wi-Fi module here, so your Delta Pro can communicate with the app. And here we have a couple of extra battery ports that are again interconnected with the battery pack and inverter through the copper plates. Here you can see the wheel axis going on across, and you will see that it's all pure stainless steel, super heavy duty, super heavy load. I think it's about, I don't know, between 10 and 12 millimeters in diameter. So this is designed to go on all kind of roads and not be broken. Okay, we have already detached the couple of screws, not couple, I think 4 or 6 screws of the inverter and Mppt model, and now let's take it off. Oh, that's not light at all. That's pretty heavy. So here you can see is our aluminum structural support, and just by looking at this, you will see that it's extremely robust to support the heavy weight and heavy duty needs of Delta Pro and the whole structure. Now it's time to see what's inside. Ba-bam. Oh, I think something is holding it. Oh, those signal cables. 1 and signal cable. Two. So we are now finally arriving at the very top of our LFP battery pack. And there are a few things you need to know here. First of all, we have special cables here that are sending the signal about the temperature of the internal battery pieces. And it collects the temperature. See, you see here, it's not a toothpaste. Actually, under this, there are some sensors, temperature sensors. And they're located in 4 spots here, 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 and here. So they're sending the information through this cable into the BMS module. So this is first thing. Second thing here is that we have this cable that measures the voltage in every cell and delivers this information again into our BMS module. Last but not least thing you need to know about this pack is that all the cells inside of this pack are welded by a precise laser spot welding machine. So it's not handmade, it's nobody with a welder sitting there. It's all done on the special equipment. And that's why the connection is very, very precise and solid in comparison to conventional welding. So that's pretty much it. We have disassembled the whole Delta Pro, and now you know that Delta Pro is not only about a lot of smart features and app and high capacity, high output ecosystem, but it's also about extremely high quality materials and extremely smart internal industrial design. So make sure you choose a Delta Pro and you're not going to be wrong about that. Cheers.